All right, welcome everyone to another edition of the Fans Talk Wrestling Podcast. FTW is a weekly WWE and TNA discussion where fans talk the wrestling world and all of its laughable glory. This is episode number 230, recorded live on September 2nd, 2014 on FTWLive.com. Tonight on Growing Up Bella, we talk about some high school bullshit that I can't even handle right now. Plus, we'll also show our incredible bias for good programming by once again praising TNA for giving us a quality TV show. Thanks to Lee and Harrison for not being on here so we can spend an hour talking about something we actually enjoyed.
Yeah, but what about the ratings?
Fuck the ratings. With us tonight is Joe. Say hello, Joe.
I tell you, it's like a slobber knocker. No. Hey, Garth, this dental work blows.
And we're also with you, everyone in the live chat, the FTW live chat hooligans. My name is Garvin. I'll be moderating tonight's conversation. If you're listening live, say hi and leave your thoughts in the comments throughout tonight's conversation. If you're on Twitter, use the hashtag FTWLive. And if you're watching on YouTube, leave a like. Also, continue to let us know how biased we are for liking TNA. Always appreciated. But now, let's talk about the week that was in wrestling. And we'll start it off with some TNA conversation.
Hells yeah.
No, seriously, check the YouTube comments. We got criticized for liking TNA too much.
We're the only ones who, besides Talk TNA podcasts, who seem to give a shit about TNA these days.
Yeah. I don't know.
Which is weird because, I mean, they're putting out a good product. I don't understand why other people aren't behind it.
I don't know either.
Well, that's the TNA talk for this week. No.
Yeah, there we go. All right, so Taryn Terrell is your number one contender for the Knockouts Championship, meaning we will get the match that we want. Taryn Terrell versus Gail Kim for the Knockouts Championship. So, yeah, obviously that's the match that we want, but where do you think anyone else fits into that division?
I really don't necessarily think they do at the moment. Because what do we get? We get Madison. We have the beautiful people. I mean, if anything, we'll see, this match that we've been waiting for. Whoever wins, maybe that's when we get Jessica Havoc.
Jessica Havoc does debut next week.
So there you go. Maybe she just throws the bid in right away.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I know I've been overly critical about the beautiful people. I know I've been overly critical about Madison Rayne. Definitely not impressed with her name is slipping my mind.
Madison Rayne, Gail Kim.
The other one. She came in as like a super fan of Madison Rayne and then had the heel turn and then disappeared.
Like Brittany or
Brittany? Was her name Brittany? I don't know.
Something like that.
It wasn't. I wasn't impressed by Brittany. So I don't know. I don't know where anyone else fits in. But I will say this: while I've been overly critical of a Madison Rayne, for instance, she put on a good match this week. I thought her match against Taryn Terrell was probably it was definitely her best match since coming back. And I don't know if it's just because they clicked, or it's just that Taryn Terrell is that good that she was able to elevate Madison Rayne up to that level.
And it was Brittany, by the way.
Yes. So I don't know. I don't know if you saw the same thing, if you like that match, but I thought it was a good match. I thought it was a very quality match for Madison Rayne especially.
I actually enjoyed that match. It was a lot of fun actually to watch. Good to see some good female wrestling going on. I mean, not much else you can say about that. I mean, it is what it is, but I mean, solid match. Props to him.
Yeah, and I do know, we have heard the news that ODB, she wasn't released, but they didn't re-sign her contract. So ODB is gone officially. She's on the alumni page, which is definitely depressing. But yeah, that does leave the door open for Havoc, who is going to make her debut this week, and I am excited about what she can bring. She's obviously a more brawler type wrestler. which is much different than what we've seen in the Knockouts division so far.
Oh, definitely, and I'm excited to see it. I'm waiting to see how they're going to help this division because this division does need a lot of help. They don't have the roster to back up the division. You know what I mean? I mean, it's a very slim roster for the women.
All right, but definitely, you know, I think I speak for everyone. Nick's not here, but I know he feels the same way. But Taryn Terrell versus Gail Kim is the match we wanted, and I cannot wait for that to finally happen. And hopefully, no one gets involved this time. Just a straight up singles match, because that'll be sweet.
Yep, agreed.
Moving on from that, fun fact: Samuel Shaw likes trying on Gunner's clothes.
Okay.
I don't know what else to say about it.
I'm glad I must have missed that one.
It's probably...
It's what happens when you have to take a leak, you know?
Yeah, it's probably the story that I least enjoy on TNA. I will say it's okay. Like, I've enjoyed the Anderson Gunner matches and how Samuel Shaw fits in there, and this whole idea that Samuel Shaw has changed and he's not the creepy bastard anymore. And then he pulls this, and I'm just not sure where they're going with it. I'm not sure if I should be interested in this or not.
We should be interested because it's TNA. Am I wrong in that? I mean, I would like to see where they're going to go with this. I actually do. Because I like the Samuel Shaw character. I want to see what else they can do with it besides Christy Hemistocker.
Well, except for they're dipping back into that. Now he's trying on Gunner's clothes, and
let's see where they're going to take Crazy. I mean, they already did a shit ton of it with Abyss.
Yeah.
Now let's see if we can do something different with Crazy.
Okay. So yeah, definitely bottom of my TNA totem pole of what's going on right now. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But let's talk about probably one of my favorite things happening right now. That is the revitalization of the X division. I think, speaking for all of us, we're all pretty ecstatic, excited about the X division, what they've been doing, especially now that they brought back the six-sided ring. So, but while we generally enjoy the matches that we have received, especially this week, it was a six-man tag match. They're all. It seems like they're really counting on multi-man matches. So it's as if we went back to when the X Division title could only be defended in triple threat matches, or you had triple threat matches every week. We've gotten a scramble. This still felt like a scramble, even though it was a six-man tag match. Do you think that if they continue to push this style of chaos, that it's going to become a bit overkill? That there's not enough singles matches?
It could be. I think right now it's just trying to get everyone's attention. To get that spotlight back, because they've got a lot of great talent to fill out this division. So I'm excited for what's possibly going to be coming down the pipe, or the pike, however you want to say it. But yeah, I think tossing in some singles matches. I think when they really want to break it down and go to determine who the number one contender is, then they'll get into singles matches. Right now, it's just a balls out X Division spot fest.
Sure, I guess my only fear is, the initial idea of having, triple threat matches every single week with X Division guys. It worked out well at the beginning, but just kind of became less important. And while it's nice to see all of these guys and they're continually active every week or every other week, I don't want them to continue to book this way, so it feels like they're just going with this card every single time. I mean, we sort of saw something similar with the WWE Divas. You know, while AJ held the title back before Paige debuted, all we would get for these Divas matches were like six women tag matches or 8 women tag matches, or you know, it was always like that's all we would get. We wouldn't get AJ in a match. We would get, you know, all of the Divas in the match. It just became overkill because while, you know, well, you know, in this instance, we are seeing some good action, and overall, I enjoy the exhibition. I just don't want to see this card every time.
Right, but I think right now the reason they're doing it is to show all those X Division guys again, to refamiliarize yourself with them all. I think in the next couple of weeks we're going to see it start to die down.
Okay. But once again, this week we saw really it seemed like a spotlight on Low Ki. So it seems like once again we're going to be moving towards another Low Ki versus Samoa Joe match, which I can't argue with. I think that would be a fantastic match. Do you see that that's the way they're moving right now?
I think they are, but I would like to see almost somebody pop up in between them. Only because I don't want to see I not necessarily want to see a rematch right away. That way it gives Joe more time with the title, and yeah, Joe more time with the title, and before he could possibly lose it. You know what I mean?
I do. Okay. Moving on from that. We still don't... Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Joe.
No, go ahead. I was like, yep, moving on.
Oh, okay. We still don't have a number one contender yet for the World Heavyweight Champion, or the World Heavyweight Championship. You know, as we went into this week, it was going to be either Bobby Roode or Eric Young. Kurt Angle is going to make his decision, but his decision was along the same lines of what we were thinking. We were thinking originally it was probably going to be a triple threat match. Instead, what we're going to get is Bobby Roode versus his best friend, Eric Young. Winner goes on to face Lashley whenever that happens. So, do you like this better than a straight up triple threat match, Roode EY versus Lashley?
No, but I still think that triple threat's going to happen. I think we're going to see a double DQ or no contest. I think Lashley's going to go take both the guys out. You know, show he's a monster and so dominant. So I think we're still going to get that triple threat. So, I mean, I don't like the singles match. I don't think either one of these guys should necessarily be set to the sidelines for the other one. And it could develop into a good feud. But I think a triple threat is the way to go.
I'm with you. I think a triple threat is probably the direction they're going to go. You know, just seeing how things have gone thus far, it's always, you know, you're always seeing Kenny King get involved in some way, especially like this week where we had Bobby Lashley versus Tommy Dreamer. Kenny King got involved, MVP got involved, so it's likely we'll get that again with Roode versus EY, and I'd be totally fine with that. I'd be totally fine if both advanced to make it a triple threat match, because ultimately there's a lot of good options coming up. You know, we do know that Lashley will probably take some time off, depending on how schedules fall, just because he's going to be working some MMA matches for Bellator. So I don't know where that necessarily fits with the taping schedule, but it does seem like this would be a good opening for them to do that. And that could also lead to, you know, a Bobby Roode versus EY feud, which I'm all for. I think that would be fantastic.
That actually would be pretty fun. So I'm excited for that.
Yeah, it does feel like Bobby Roode is the stronger of the two between, you know, Roode and EY. EY still feels kind of like that wild card. Like, you know, it's nice that he's there, and we're happy to see him in the title race, but he almost seems kind of out of place. I don't know if you feel the same way.
I feel that EY always, even when he was on the on top, he felt awkward. Like there wasn't a firm place for him. Like they still had to try and prove that he deserved to be there. And well, I feel he did that to an extent with the essential. I mean, for lack of a better term, the 24/7 championship, defense kind of thing going on. I mean, yes, he didn't do it 24/7, but every match he had, title's on the line. They did a great job of building him as a champion that way, but it always still felt a little bit awkward.
Yeah, and like Blue was saying in the live chat, we're getting into Bound for Glory territory now, so they really should be setting up towards the main event. We do know within the next 2 weeks, I can't remember the date specifically, but we are going to get the new TV tapings through, which is basically going to carry us into Bound for Glory. So, yeah, I mean, overall, it does seem like this is what we're going to get for the time being. But do you think that they're going to drag out this triple threat, or maybe keep the title on Lashley up until Bound for Glory, or do you think they're going to make the move Bobby Roode versus EY as your main event heading into Bound for Glory?
It all depends on what they decide they want to do with Lashley. If they're going to put him off on the side, like if they're going to give him time off for Bellator and maybe take the title off him, then yeah, I can see both these guys, doing the double pin, and then it's between these two guys in Bound for Glory. I think that'd make a great program. If they decide that Lashley's going to keep it and these two guys are just going to feud to see who's really going to be the guy to go against Lashley, that can work too. But I think a match involving Lashley needs to happen so that then they can build that necessary heat between the two of them to determine going forward. You agree?
Yeah, and speaking of Bound for Glory, it's going to take place on Sunday, October 12th, from the Karakuin Hall. I know I'm probably not pronouncing it properly. I apologize. We're going to be previewing it on Tuesday, October 7th on FTW235. Tickets go on sale this weekend, and we were talking about Bound for Glory last week and how it's just kind of odd that we're about a little over a month away. A little over a month away, and we still really hadn't heard any names that were going to be there, any potential matches that were going to happen. But we have names now, and it includes MVP, Samoa Joe, James Storm, Sonata, EC3 Abyss, the Wolves, Bram, and Manic. Team 3D is going to be there for the TNA Hall of Fame, but it's most likely the Hardy Boys won't be there just because of Jeff Hardy's inability to travel. And so that kind of changes the overall picture for the tag team series, depending on what direction they go. Some other big names that were left off include EY, including Bobby Roode and Bobby Lashley. So it's kind of odd that they're leaving that out of the mix. Maybe just trying to keep it a secret of and less predictable of who's going to be advancing in that main event.
Fair enough.
And we should also note, last week we did say it was the Tokyo Dome. We weren't totally off on that. It's going to be at Tokyo Dome City, which is like the entire campus, which has like the Tokyo Dome. It's got a couple other things, and it's got this Karakuin Hall. And again, I'm probably mispronouncing that. I apologize. Sort of interesting. I did a little bit of research, and there's only 800 tickets going to be made available. This is like the capacity for this hall. And while that does seem small, especially for a pay-per-view, it's very similar to the general, scene that we have at the Manhattan Center. So which is okay. It's going to have that atmosphere. This hall was built, I think, in the '60s, and it's been like the house. It's been where all major wrestling promotions go to have events, and not just wrestling, but also MMA and boxing. So it's made for this type of thing. So I think that's a lot more exciting than just saying it's going to be at the Tokyo Zone or the Tokyo Dome.
Agreed. It'll be. It's going to be a fun show, for sure.
Yeah, just knowing that just like how into it the Japanese crowd can be. I think it's going to be good atmosphere, especially if it's in this like tight knit group kind of thing. You know, again, 1,800 tickets doesn't sound like a lot, but coming from you know our perspective of watching it on TV at the Manhattan Center, and while that is a small crowd, I was lucky to be a part of it for one night. And it was just an amazing atmosphere. So hopefully they can reproduce this in the hall.
Yeah, I am still jealous of you and Lee for going to that show.
As you should be.
I did want to go, I just couldn't afford the time.
One day we'll go.
One day, it'll be glorious.
Okay, so before we move on, let's continue talking about some other new things that took place this week on Impact. This week we saw the debut, basically, of the Great Sonata.
The Great Sonata was awesome.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that match, actually, quite a bit.
I enjoyed it too, and you know, as I was trying to make notes of what to say for this, it was kind of odd because watching this match and just watching how Sonata worked under these circumstances, I almost like the Great Muta ripoff version of Sonata more than regular Sonata.
Well, it's a different character than plain old Sonata. Like, it's given us an aspect that we want to see. You know, we want to see a bit more of. I don't know. Like, to me, Sonata himself was kind of bland, but that's because I don't have all the background info. You know what I mean? We're bringing a guy who's already got. You know, he's already known. And but the Great Muta is the fucking Great Muta. I mean, it's not just that he's great or the Muta. He's the Great Muta.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, he's a legend in the business. So to see this gimmick where, like, all of a sudden, no, he's being, like, brainwashed by James Storm and he's going to be, like, the Great Muta, but not the Great Muta, I like it.
Yeah, and overall, it's not just a change of character, but it's also a change of, like, just attitude. It was a change in, like, move style. It just seemed like this fit more with what we've come to expect from Japanese wrestlers, and it was just a stiffer style, and it seemed to work better in TNA and in the six-sided ring than what he had been doing.
Right.
So yeah, I'm all for it. I know it's probably a short-lived gimmick, but I hope they take aspects of what he's doing now and keep that once this whole thing is done.
Right. I agree.
Maybe not the face paint. I think he can lose the face paint and be fine. I think the move set, I think you keep. Maybe even keep the green mist. I think
the green mist is classic Japanese wrestling at least for us in the U.S.
Yeah.
So that can stay because it's bringing a little bit of Japan, stereotypical Japan, because it's a stereotype we have, even though it may not be a great stereotype. That apparently all Japanese wrestlers spew green mist.
Yeah.
Which leads me, there's got to be a video somewhere of like 10 guys with different colored mist, and they all just like end up spitting at each other.
If that happened, it probably happened in Chikara.
That's what I was thinking. Chikara.
All right. The first match of the tag team series between Team 3D The Hardy Boys and the Wolves happened. Team 3D won. This match got at least 2 This Is Awesome chants, and rightfully so. In your mind, do you think the Wolves proved that they belong in the ring with these 2 great teams?
I think they did, and I think this match just made me think about the awesomeness that was Team 3D versus the Motor City Machine Guns. No, Beer Money and Motor City Machine Guns. What am I saying? That best of 5 series they did. I can't wait for this to go the distance because, we're getting tables, we're getting ladders. We'll probably get some chairs. I mean, there is no way in hell TNA is going to have this go like quick. We're going to get the full 4 matches because it only takes one team to win 2. One team's only got to win 2 matches for this to be completed. So, I mean, 3D's already got theirs. We're going to have one by the Wolves, one by the Hardys, and then the bets are on, my friends. Then we determine who will be the best tag team ever in TNA. I mean, like, wow.
Yeah, going into this, I appreciated the concept, but I just didn't think the Wolves were at that level just yet. I thought it was too big of a bump for them. You're just knowing that they've only been in TNA for under a year, right? I think, yeah. I think they debuted this year, so under a year. They really haven't had a lot of matches, just because TNA's tag division really hasn't been that competitive for the last 6 to 8 months. So for them to get this bumped, which is obvious, that's the way they're going to go, but it just seemed off. It seemed rushed. It seemed undeserved. But totally, I thought they carried themselves very well. And it was great to see. It did feel like they fit. So I have to give my props to the Wolves. They're definitely fitting in very well with this style of competition.
My question then becomes, do we foresee TNA pulling a swerve? I mean, everyone's expecting Wolves, right, to come out with titles. With the soon-to-be induction into the Hall of Fame of Team 3D, do we get them to win the titles?
I think if you're going to make a swerve, that's the only route. I mean, there's no way the Hardys come out.
I've no spoilers of the tapings that have gone on to give TNA shows for the next 3 years. So, God, you have no idea how much that annoys me that they've taped like 6 weeks in advance. I get it.
Yeah.
But it really bothers me because all the details are out there. You know what I mean?
It does make it hard as a wrestling fan that uses the internet every day. It is hard to avoid that. So I'm glad though we do, and we
do our best to anyway.
Yeah, that's true. We do our best. But yeah, well, let's talk about what match is coming up next. The stipulation was whoever won this tag match was going to decide what type of match they were going to go into next week. Right. So obviously it feels like a TLC match is coming. I think that's what's going to end this. Do you think a tables match?
Sorry. There will never be a TLC match, man. A Full Metal Mayhem match, maybe.
Oh, well, right. I'm sorry. Yeah, Full Metal Mayhem. So that's probably what's going to end this. But do you think a tables match now would be too much?
I don't. But I don't know because, I mean, if we do a ladder match, what are you putting up there? The belts? I mean, wouldn't you save that for the TLC match? Oh, I'm sorry, the Full Metal Mayhem match? I don't think it's too much because we're going to get it. It's an inevitability. So I don't foresee it being too much. No.
I'm with you. I think it seems logical that they would go with the match that they seemingly have won pretty much every single time as a tag team, and that would be tables match. But obviously, there's
Right.
no way there's no way Team 3D wins this next match
No,
unless
they're
it's
going to lose it. They are definitely going to lose it.
yeah, unless like they change the script on us and it's not a best of 5, it's more of like a best of
No, it's a best of 4.
best. Is it a best of 4?
You only have to win 2 matches. Otherwise, this thing's going to go on for like forever.
Which would be okay.
I agree, but
Well, at least to the end of the year. Then who knows what's going to happen?
yeah, Bully Ray. I mean, he's sticking around for ages.
Well, I guess we should talk about that. Let's transition to that.
Okay.
We've talked about this. Well, at least we've touched on the idea. Bully Ray's contract is up. I haven't read anything that suggests he has re-signed with TNA. Kurt Angle's contract is also up. So with those two big names potentially leaving TNA, do you think that still gives TNA some leeway to do some good things, or do you think that is hurtful for TNA?
Say that again.
So,
like, I'm confused at what your question is at this point. That's why.
well, Bully Ray,
It's not the doc, so I can't read it and read.
Bully Ray, Kurt Angle's contracts are up. All signs currently point to TNA not re-signing them. So if that's the case, where does TNA go from here? Do you think TNA still has room to be successful without those two veterans, kind of, holding the ship together, or do you think that, like, just your general thought?
I think
On this
that
idea.
see, if they go, they go, and TNA's going to have to determine. They need to decide who's going to be the head of the locker room. Because if you lose those two guys who have been the head of the locker room, like you lose those guys, you have to keep going. Who's going to step up? I think that's going to be James Storm. I think it's going to be Bobby Roode. And maybe even Anderson. I think it would be not necessarily a bad thing for these guys to go. I think it hurts the morale of the locker room to get rid of guys who are very well seasoned in the big end of professional wrestling. The grander stages. I'm not saying TNA isn't a grand stage, but the guys who have had experience in WWE, the multi-million-dollar pay-per-views, and have headlined, or had standout matches in case of Bully Ray. But I mean, Kurt Angle headlined WrestleManias. So, and no matter how you cut it, that's still. It's always been said. Guys want to, and guys want to go to the WWE. Not saying TNA doesn't put out a great product, but that's where guys want to go. They're looking for the call of the E. They want to go to the show. They want to go to WrestleMania.
Sure. Well, there's definitely more money up there, so yeah.
Right. I mean, so with these guys who have had the experience there that they're bringing and teaching to these guys here to help them elevate their game, I think that's what hurts. But if the veterans of TNA can take that knowledge and bring it along and help the other guys advance and really expound on it, I think they're in a good place.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think overall it'll be sad, but it's not going to kill TNA. It's not going to put TNA in a bad spot. Kurt Angle has been completely off of my radar as top-level guy for the last year and a half.
But he's the cyborg.
I know, but he's always hurt. While he does deliver some good matches, I don't know. He's not into it. You can see, at least I get this impression that he's just not, that he's just fulfilling the contract. He's not interested. And you can hear him in interviews and all of these, rumors and whatnot about him basically begging WWE to let him back. Whether you can believe it or not, I mean, it does seem like he's been on his way out and wanting to return to WWE for a long time. Especially because, I mean, he chose not to renew his contract. It wasn't that TNA didn't offer him a good contract. It's not that, TNA wouldn't negotiate with him. It was definitely his choice. He didn't want to re-sign because he wanted to consider all of his options. But I'm fine with Angle leaving. What do they lose right now? They lose a authority figure that they can easily bring someone else to do, or just remove that altogether and go to just wrestling.
Right, but I mean, I think Angle in the TNA locker room was the Undertaker in the WWE locker room. He's, you know what I mean? He is the big guy.
To me, Bully Ray fills that spot. And I think because Bully Ray has been such a positive voice for the backstage, in any interview he does, he always talks positively about what they're doing and what he's contributing to. And I think losing him from the backstage and on screen, because on screen he's been involved in so many big things over the last 2.5 years. I think that's the much bigger loss, and it'll be hard to replace him. They've got the talent to do it,
right?
But he does add a nice veteran, part of the equation overall.
Looking to the live chat, it's brought up that Samoa Joe is a leader, and you're right. Samoa Joe is a leader. The problem there becomes Samoa Joe. While Samoa Joe is a great leader and a great worker, he, in my opinion, doesn't have all the cred that's needed. I'm trying to think of the best way to describe it. He hasn't had the title wins, and that may sound stupid, but a title win also shows that the company is seriously behind a guy, and they just haven't done that with Joe. It's kind of like EY. EY, I feel, is in the same boat, even though he's had the world champ. I mean, both Joe and EY have had the championship, the top title, but I don't feel the company was fully behind them in those times.
Yeah, and we're going to talk a little bit about this in the next topic, but yeah, overall, I'm with you. Samoa Joe, while he's a veteran, while he's been there since the beginning, he was a TNA original. It doesn't appear, and at least in the last 5 years, it doesn't appear like that the company totally trusted him to take the reins and help them move forward into the future. You would always see other guys step up and take that role, especially like a guy like Bobby Roode. Even Austin Aries had that opportunity. EY in recent memory also did that. So, I think there's definitely guys above him in the totem pole, and it's also because it does seem like Samoa Joe is removed awkwardly from storylines, like and some rumors cite personal issues with like family or personal issues between him and management. It's never really clear why Samoa Joe is taking time off.
Yeah, Samoa Joe just kind of... Yeah, we never knew why he took time off. So all of a sudden he's taking time off. I don't know if it's family. I don't know if he's just grumpy. He's that time of the Samoan month for Samoa Joe. Because I mean, if you're going to be called Samoa Joe, everything's going to be Samoan flavored. It's like, where's your Samoan shirt? Oh, it's in the Samoan laundry. Because that would just be fun if like they wanted to turn him kind of more a little bit more comedy character. Wouldn't that be hilarious?
It would be.
I'm going to kick you with my Samoan boot. Because I'm Samoan Joe. I want a Samoan cheeseburger. Yeah, stuff like that. Anyway, that's totally off the mark here. Yeah, marks.
Live chat wants a Samoan cheeseburger. I could go for one right now, actually. I wonder if it's anything like the Hawaiiana burger.
Why do you gotta put pineapple on a fucking cheeseburger?
Because it's so good, man.
Pineapple tastes like butthole. I'm not a pineapple fan.
All right, so real quick before we move on, Styles Clash 10 in the live chat pointed out He said, I just realized that if Angle, Bully, and Devon leave this year, TNA will have none of their Hall of Fame members under contract. So your thoughts on that? Is that a good thing or is that a bad thing?
Well, the question is, if these guys aren't going to be wrestling, or they don't need to necessarily have them under contract. I mean, how many guys? I mean, WWE's got bigger pocketbooks. Yeah, they can put their Hall of Famers on Legends contracts, and But outside of that, I don't think you necessarily need them under contract. You only need them under contract if they're going to wrestle. If they're not going to wrestle, what's it matter? And
Yeah.
I think that idea for a new shirt, I'm a pineapple guy, is ridiculous. And it only works if you're fucking SpongeBob.
Robert Carmichael in the live chat says, new shirt idea, I'm a pineapple guy. I could go with that. We'll see what we can do. As far
if you put a SpongeBob silhouette behind it,
I don't know how that fits in with us, but yeah.
It doesn't. Like pineapples. Bye-bye. Get out of here. We the people.
So anyways, about this topic, is it a good thing or is it a bad thing if everyone in the Hall of Fame is not under contract? I think this is a good thing. I don't know how we can criticize TNA when they introduce the idea of the Hall of Fame because they're only bringing in people that have worked or that are currently working with them, to then be in a position where anyone who is in a Hall of Fame is no longer working with them. I think you can't have it both ways. You can't criticize them for this and then criticize them for the exact opposite. I think this is a good move. If we do lose Bully Ray, I think that sucks overall, just because of how involved he's been. But considering he's now a Hall of Fame member, and he is basically put in his dues and helped the company so much, for him not to be in the company, I think it really legitimizes the Hall of Fame. It is basically embracing and celebrating what past champions and past big names in the company have done for the company to get them to where they are now. Not active members continuing to be active and whatever. So I think this is fine. This is totally cool.
I've got nothing more to say on it.
Cool. All right, so before we move on to some WWE, we kind of want to talk about booking, just a general conversation about booking that we normally criticize, but actually might have worked out for the better, and that is week-to-week booking, panicked booking, that sort of thing, where it feels like they're rushing to try and fill in a void because of injury or because of whatever else. This email comes from Amandeep, emailed questions@ftwpodcast.com, and it goes like this. We know that MVP was booked to face EY at Slammiversary. He was most likely going to win the belt and continue his power trip. That's the direction the storyline was going in. How different would TNA have been with MVP as champ and authority figure had he not suffered a legit injury? And has it turned out for the best that we got Lashley as champ and Angle as the authority figure? If so, is TNA's recent success slightly fortuitous? What do you think, Joe?
Why do you got to use big words?
I'm glad. I was really dreading saying that word out loud, but
actually you did really well with that. I'm proud
you.
of you, because there are a lot of words that I've known you for many years, and sometimes hearing you talk is like the funniest shit to ever happen. All those typing and text with you can sometimes drive me up a wall.
Autocorrect, man. Autocorrect.
Although. I'm sorry, that pisses me off every single time. See, yeah, we figure MVP was going to win the title and continue the power trip. We figured that's the way the storyline was going. It could have went an entirely different way. We don't know. Both MVP getting the injury I mean, it worked out well for Lashley. Lashley's creditable, but I don't know. I liked the idea of MVP winning it and having his two lackeys, and then one of them eventually snapping and going after MVP and taking the title. I think that would have possibly Lashley. I think MVP and Lashley could have had some good matches because I believe they were both in WWE at the same time. And I mean, MVP was a heel,
Yeah.
so they probably did have some run-ins on the ECW, the WWE ECW.
Sure, and I'm trying to remember back of how things lined up. Like I know Lashley and Kenny King were partnered with MVP right before the injury, right? Like it's like they partnered up to kind of
Yeah, they were already partnered.
yeah.
They partnered. Well, they partnered to attack EY.
That's right. That's right.
They were part of the turn.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that was obvious. I think Amandeep is right. I mean that's something that we've been saying when it was going to happen, when this injury happened, all that stuff. That MVP was booked to face EY and probably take the title off of him. Um, and yeah, I think there could have been some cool stuff, but just going back, like, and again, it's hard to remember how we felt about certain situations, but I don't think I was completely high on the idea of MVP winning. Like, it seemed obvious that's the way they're going, but I wasn't necessarily. Well, yeah, that's true. But I wasn't necessarily looking forward to it. It just seemed, rushed almost. So, but it does seem like TNA has had some major problems booking this World Heavyweight Championship race. It's not just MVP's injury. Think back. Right before that, we had Kurt Angle's injury, and it was rumored that we were going to get Kurt Angle versus EY, and before that, it was going to be Samoa Joe winning the title and Samoa Joe versus Angle. But Samoa Joe had to take his time off. Angle got hurt. They put the title on EY, and it was such a risky, move. It was while we were pleased overall that EY was champion. It wasn't the perfect fit. Like it wasn't as perfect as like a Samoa Joe holding the title would have been. But I think it worked out well in TNA's favor, and bringing Lashley and making Lashley and Kenny King as like the main physical guys in that stable with MVP. I think TNA was fortuitous. I think TNA did luck out basically. Like despite all of the problems leading up to getting the title where they might have booked it to be long term, I think in the short term they made the right moves, and that's so rare. Oftentimes we look at a company like TNA, and when it seemed like they were just doing things week to week and everything wasn't necessarily gelling and it wasn't working, we really criticized them. And while we probably should still criticize them for booking week to week, I think in this circumstance it was perfect. Now, I know we're totally biased towards TNA, and we praise TNA for putting on some good stuff, but I think you do have to give credit where credit's due in here. And yeah, there are people here that might not like TNA in general, but given the hand that they were dealt every single time since MVP came on, especially with his injury, I think it worked out. I think it's made It's made for better TV. And it's given the crowd pretty much what they wanted. They wanted EY to get that opportunity and to lead the company, and he got it, and we all backed him. And then now we can back Bobby Roode, just like we backed Austin Aries when he won the X Division Championship and handed that in for a match. I think all of those matches and this whole story has worked totally well in TNA's favor. So sorry for being biased, but
fucking biased.
So Lou, just to add on to this, Lou on Facebook, his question kind of fits into this conversation. You know, can the massive improvements in TNA's writing be attributed to taping so many shows in a short period of time? You know, that's the other thing. You know, while we do look at this as short-term booking because it is week to week, literally it's day to day because of how they're taping, but at the same time, I mean, they are taping 6 shows in 3 days, 3 consecutive days. So do you think it is short-term booking, or do you think that it's really long-term booking on a shorter period of time?
I mean, it's long-term booking in a shorter period of time. This is my one problem with TNA. Is that I appreciate the fact that they're like, okay, this is the span for these next 6 episodes. It's where we're going to go. We've got the plan. We're going to lay these matches out. Bam, bam, bam. The problem is that they're taping them 3 days in a row, and once they finally air the first one, everybody who is at those tapings knows at least one. They know 2 of the shows,
right?
6 weeks in advance, if not longer. That's the problem. The problem isn't. Yeah. So, I mean, I'm getting back to the actual topic. Can the improvement in TNA's writing be attributed to the taping so many shows in a short period of time? I don't think so. I guess it just forces them to stick with an idea. Like, oh, fuck, this is the idea we're going to go with. They tape the 3 shows. They can't all of a sudden go, oh, shit, you know what would be even better? Let's do this instead. They're committed for 6 weeks.
Yeah, and like Lou said in the initial question as well, you know, the argument for this is that it forced TNA to plan out storylines in a short period of time without the fear of these last-minute rewrites like we get in WWE. So yeah, overall, I think it totally can be put onto the idea, or at least attributed to the way they are taping these shows. Like while it does suck, yeah, for us in general, just because there's so many spoilers out there, they're recording 6 shows in a matter of a week, so that's like a month and a half worth of shows, and you know, while it does suck because it does give us spoilers, it does put TNA in a position where they have to, like, all right, this is what we're doing. Let's be confident in how we're going to move forward with this, and yeah, not fear having to figure it out as they go week to week. And luckily, it's worked out. It's worked out for them.
Yeah, so far. I just have a fear that they're going to stick to this formula for too long, and then we're going to lose interest. Like, yeah, it works well for the snippet, but then the 6 weeks are done. Yeah, I don't know. They need more spontaneity. We need that spontaneity bit. Because if you don't have that lot, if you can read about it ahead of time and you're not hip with what's going to happen, you're not going to watch. That's my bitch. That's my big bitch about this.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it'd be nice to get a live show in between 4 to 6 shows. I think that would be kind of cool. But yeah. I don't know. It's weird because I feel that way about NXT. Like NXT, all the shows are taped, and I've missed a few. Like I'm still trying to catch up from shows that I missed in July. I finally caught up to August, and I'm just. While I do enjoy what NXT is doing, I don't feel as motivated to continue to watch and hurry up and catch up so I'll be up to date. I don't feel that same way with TNA. Like, I can avoid spoilers. I can watch TNA from week to week and be totally satisfied because of, I just enjoy the story more than I think I enjoy like an NXT. But I can see, that getting old fast. Just like our conversation about the X Division. If they keep doing the X Division the same way with all of this chaos every week, it could get old very, very quickly. So I don't know. I guess we'll find out.
Yes, we will.
All right. So that's our TNA conversation. Hopefully it wasn't too positive for you guys. Let's move on to the flip side of that, WWE. Everyone on the internet, for the most part, were united this week in saying that WWE Raw was the worst of the year. So let's debate this, Joe. I mean, how awful do you think Raw was this week?
I don't necessarily think it was the worst of all year that everyone's saying. I mean, damn it, that was the worst Raw all year. My name is Lee. No.
Or John Canton, or PW Torch, or any number of names.
Mike Kupak, yeah, all these guys. So, but to me, it came across as unmemorable.
Mm-hmm.
That because the matches were all right. It's just there wasn't nothing about this stood out except for the Bella segments. They stood out. They stood out to pasture in a big pile of cow shit. And John Cena. Given his thoughts to the Authority. Would it hurt the WWE that much to show John Cena as, like, I don't know, not Superman? Because, really? He gets the crap kicked out of him by Brock Lesnar.
Yeah.
Lesnar hands him his ass 3 times over. There's all these articles about, Cena and injuries and, he's nearing the end of his career. Build on that. Don't make him come back and just all of a sudden nuke the Wyatts, and then be the big man in the triple threat, picking up Kane and got him up and up comes the hand. You can't see me, and then the AA. Just seriously, you have to do that. You can't be injured. You can't sell the injury, sell the beating you took. Because if you could do that, that might make it more interesting if you happen to win at the next pay-per-view. Yeah, I really hope he doesn't. But it would give something more. It would be a better story. With him coming back and, being in a 6-man tag, hitting all the big moves, and then looking at the Authority man, the Triple H, the Stephanie McMahon, and giving your trademark thing, that's something that should have happened after he wins the title again, or something like that, like when he can have that victory, when you change the storyline for it's him versus the Authority. Right now, it's not. It's still him versus Brock Lesnar, the guy who handed him his own ass. Sell it for fuck's sake.
Yeah, I don't. This is my issue with Raw. Like, I don't agree that Raw was that this was the worst Raw of a recent memory. I think, but this specific thing, but this specific thing with John Cena, like, I just don't. I don't understand the logic. It's hard for me to figure out where they're going next with this because, it is odd how they're booking it. Basically, John Cena got buried at SummerSlam. That was like the worst beating we've pretty much ever seen on TV, especially against a guy with John Cena's stature. It was a one-sided beatdown. That's we always throw around the term burial. That was booked as a burial of John Cena. How how does he jump from that to beating the Wyatts? Or how does he jump from that, yeah, like you're saying, to still look strong now? If all these rumors are true about the injuries, they should move in that direction. They should play up, maybe Cena doesn't have it. And they sort of did that. I mean, let's take a step back. Last week, they sort of did that with the Hall of Fame panel. You had Hulk Hogan and HBK, and I can't remember who else was up there. But they were pretty much all in agreement that John Cena is taking too much to chew, basically. That he can't beat Brock Lesnar. There's no way to continue that. John Cena needs to think about his future, kind of thing. I don't know why they don't continue that. I just don't get it. Plus, John Cena this week, and this made my mind explode. John Cena literally said that he would sue WWE if they did not allow him to use his rematch clause. Like, that doesn't sound like John Cena. That doesn't sound like the last 10 years of how they've built up John Cena. Now they're making him like this whiny guy.
That sounds more like Zack Ryder when he got thrown off the stage kind of thing. It just
totally threw me off.
Yeah, well, you got a good mouthpiece, you asshat.
It just totally threw me off. Like I don't, because what we try to do, you, me, Harrison, everyone else, what we try to do is we try not to criticize right off the bat. We try to look forward, to think about like where they might be going with this. But it seems like they're going in all kinds of different directions, and none of it makes sense. None of it seems like a logical storyline.
They're gonna finish it off at In Your House. That's really the direction they're going. Yeah, it's all over the place, and I mean, where do we go back to consider the fault? What sent them in a spiral that they just don't seem to, or can't seem to recover from? Because there have been things we've liked in this spiral. But was it Daniel Bryan getting injured, or was it CM Punk leaving? Which one of those two guys do we have to blame for more Cena title reign?
Definitely Daniel Bryan getting injured. I think CM Punk started the downward spiral as far as the IWC's point of view, as far as like their general feelings, just because of all the rumors surrounding it, whether they're true or not, about why Punk left. But Daniel Bryan getting injured definitely put them in a position where they needed to panic. And this was said in the live chat. The problem isn't that it's just Cena here. This is why WWE, and this is from Styles Clash Chat. He says this is why WWE is in the position they are in now. Cena is plan A, B, C, and D every single time, even when it doesn't make sense.
And that's the problem. They don't have any other plans. They don't have any other guys that really build up. Because who's left? It's not Ziggler. Reigns. I mean, you got Reigns, but now all of a sudden everybody's turning on Reigns. Oh, he's only got 3 moves of doom. Oh, he's got the spear, he's got the running boot on the apron, and the Superman punch. That's all he's got. I don't know. He's got the Samoan drop, too.
Hmm.
Yeah. Maybe he can go get a Samoan cheeseburger. You see that? I brought a joke back from earlier in the show. We call that full circle. Maybe Samoa Joe will end up leaving TNA and he can team with Reigns.
Ooh.
They could be the head shrinkers.
Dude, that and the Usos.
There you go.
4-minute warning.
Did somebody say 4 minutes? The only reason I'd want to see Bischoff back is seriously. I'm good without Bischoff unless that was going to happen. I liked 3-minute warning. I'm sorry, I loved the gimmick.
Me too.
They just dropped it so quickly.
Which is
But if you've got $9.99, you can check out the WWE Network and check out 3 Minute Warning.
Oh, dear. So, now, I do have to bring Nick's opinion in here. Unfortunately, Nick's not here to argue this point himself. But his thought was like he doesn't necessarily get the criticism. We're still getting good matches. This is totally better than where we were last year between SummerSlam and Mania. So, like, for him, it's not as dire. And I said the same thing like last week. Last week, while I did read the Raw live chat on Facebook before I watched Raw, and that kind of hurt me enjoying Raw as much. There were still some good things that happened. Like, we still had the opportunity to rave about AJ versus Paige. Now this week we don't really have the opportunity, but still there are some good things happening. But let's quickly, before we get into the good things, let's talk a little bit more about the bad things. That is the idea that Paige and Paige was too perfect for WWE.
Paige and Paige.
Did I say that? AJ
yes,
and Paige.
Paige and Paige. I like it.
Paige.
That'd be a great tag team, Paige.
Yeah. So, anyways, it's too perfect. That team is too, or that feud is too perfect. So, what do they have to do? They had to merge that with the Bella feud. So now Nikki has a title shot or something, and why? How did this idea survive on the cutting board in the creative department? Why didn't this idea just die in the womb of the creative department? Help me out.
Fetal combat! Ding, 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 ding. Oh, dude, those segments were terrible. All the lead into Mrs. Five Moves of Doom getting in there for a title shot. Maybe. Okay, so Nikki gets a title shot. She ends up beating Paige, either one of them, taking the title. And then she owes it all to her man. And that's when Cena turns heel.
Okay.
It's all building to a Cena heel turn. A Seal heel turn.
Seal.
Heel. He's going to have a scar on his face and everything.
Rose on the grave. I got you. Yeah,
nerds.
I know the general reaction to that statement is Harrison cringing and yelling at us. But honestly, like, if that was the direction they were going, that's a logical direction. I don't know how WWE can expect to play both sides of kayfabe. Like, they can push Total Divas on us where, we know they're in a relationship and then not talk about it on air. It's like they want us to forget that they're not related in any way, and that I don't know. I don't know how. I don't get it. If they were doing the logical thing, and Nikki is obviously your heel now, Cena should also be going in that direction. And maybe who knows? Maybe they actually do pull that trigger. But the problem is it's too late now. Now we almost expect it. Except for we don't. We don't expect it. Like, I don't know, man.
Oh, Jill, you may get a fail of the week from me for that. This idea was a missed opportunity for an abortion. That's taking it too far. But was it taking it too far that I actually had to say that on the show? Could be. I don't know. This is, unfortunately, I'm not drinking booze tonight like I was supposed to because of the dental work.
Yeah.
But I mean, we're not really far off from a wrestling with beer show.
No.
Less breaks, a little more sobriety. At least on my end. Man. Yeah, I don't know why we get the Bellas, but we do, and we have to put up with it.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate. I mean, they. Again, last week, like, we were trying to find positives. I think we found positives, but for some reason, They took it back away from what was making it good, which was the wrestling. They were bringing wrestling history and the wrestling storyline in the feud, and that was good. They erased that, and now we went back to growing up Bellas, and how this has built up over the years. And Nikki's never told anyone how awful Brie was, and I don't know. It just
they were fine when it was Twin Magic, but all of a sudden,
yeah,
the magic is gone.
I don't know why this is getting so much TV time when other things that are good should also be getting as much TV time, if not more. And the other thing that sucks is we just got the announcement a couple of hours ago, and if you're listening on demand, yes, this did in fact happen, and this is in fact going to happen on Raw this upcoming week, and that is Jerry Springer is going to come on and try to help Brie and Nikki out.
Yeah. Jerry. And Jill, I didn't say it should have died in the womb. That was Garvin.
I did say that.
You did. That was Garvin. What do you mean, fuck this show?
That's going to be... Okay. Jerry Springer is going to be awful. I'm sorry, Versi Jones. It's going to be awful. Yeah, Jerry Springer is going to be on WWE. He's going to be the guest host, and they're going to do some kind of segment with the Bellas. That's unfortunate. But again,
bring out his guest wrangler, Steve.
I can only imagine. They should.
They totally should.
But again, while there are things we don't like about what WWE is doing right now, like the top storylines that are happening, there are some good things. So let's talk about stuff that we like. For me, Usos versus Dust Brothers. I like how this feud is progressing.
I love it. We said it last week. I'll say it again. The Dusty's boys here, Gold Dust, Stardust, Dusties. I don't know. They have a legitimate reason. It's not like all of a sudden, we're turning heel because we're turning heel. Fuck it. They actually gave them purpose and reasoning where it makes sense. So later on, if they decide to make them a face team again, it's an easier path because It was purely logic. No, this match is not going to end this way with this injury and a count out. We're getting this done. We're getting our title shot, or fuck you. Love it. Fantastic. Brilliant. So the story can continue. This is like early 80s tag team wrestling. When you had all those teams, and they all had a reason for doing what they did. They all had a reason. And you can mix them up. You got these guys over here, and then these guys over here, and they're in their feuds, and it doesn't have to be for the title, but eventually these guys and this guy, they're going to fight for the title, and it's going to be great, and it will then turn into this other storyline or reach back to another storyline. Damn it, you're on the right logic path. Now get us more tag teams.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing with me, too. I love the feud, but having more tag teams there would be nice too, because you can only do so much with the Usos and the Dust Brothers. I don't necessarily want this to go the route that they went with the Wyatt family, where the Wyatt family just lost 3 times in a row and then disappeared from the tag title scene. But
I mean, they kind of have to if you lose 3 shots in a row.
Well, right, but I don't necessarily agree that they should have.
Oh, I agree with that completely.
Yeah,
they shouldn't have, but it is what it is, and there we go.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I'm totally for this feud. I think the tag division, at least with these 2 tag teams, is interesting and entertaining. And while I had my reservations about the direction they're going with Stardust and Goldust, I think it's working out. I think it's working. So, outside of that, we also have Bo Dallas versus Jack Swagger. Your thoughts on that? Do you like what they're doing here?
It's interesting. It reaches to me back to Wyatt and Kane, or
Wow.
Wyatt, or Kane and Cena too, with that embrace the hate kind of shit. It's that, but you gotta believe, Jack. Embrace the hate and believe. You know,
But
it,
it
it's a
progressed
very
above
similar
that.
thing. What's that?
It progressed above that this week. Like it's not just that, but like now Bo Dallas is causing Jack Swagger to lose. I thought that was a nice touch, and to me that's a little bit more interesting than what we got. It's not as cookie cutter as they've made Bo Dallas to be up to this point. It's actually making him do things to get under the skin of his opponent, outside of just speaking.
Yeah, no, and this is working great. I love it. They're doing something with Jack Swagger. Holy crap! Like he had a feud, and granted, it didn't end up the way it should have. But they're doing something else with him. He's going from prominent storyline to prominent storyline. Yeah, it's more in the mid card. It kind of has a little bit of that filler aspect, but it's better than him sitting on the sidelines and losing every week for no reason.
Yeah.
At least he's in an actual storyline as opposed to cannon fodder.
Right. So I've been pretty open and vocal about my love for Bo Dallas over the last couple of weeks, and I think they've added a very nice touch with this, and I'm looking forward to how this moves into Night of Champions. And yeah, it does continue to help me like Jack Swagger as well. Overall, the Jack Swagger versus Rusev feud, while no way that's over, I think this is a nice break, and it keeps him relevant and keeps him interested.
Do you think Bo Dallas is still worth 5 Stone Colds?
I think he can be now. uh, I think Bo Dallas has. I think Bo Dallas has it. He's got everything. He's good on the mic. While I don't necessarily like his voice kind of grates on me, but just like the way that they push it, it makes it entertaining. I think Bo Dallas can be good if WWE continues this natural progression with him. Unfortunately, I don't see WWE allowing this to grow naturally. I think they're going to force him into a situation that he can't survive, because that's how WWE booking does with people that we like. And it's he's probably going to wait around for a year or two before he gets another major opportunity, like they did with Dolph Ziggler, like they've done with The Miz. Like they've done with Damian Sandow, like anyone else that we've shown interest in and collectively have liked. WWE will find a way to ruin it.
Styles Clash is, man, you're a pain in my ass right now, because now I have apparently WWE Network the WWE shop is selling a WWE Network $9.99 T-shirt, and it's only $9.99.
Yeah.
I did verify it, and I'm very tempted to click checkout. But it's probably one of the stupidest shirts I'll ever buy.
Yeah, I don't do it.
I'm so tempted though, because next time for a pay-per-view viewing at the house, that'd be brilliant.
Yeah, don't do it. I think you'll
cart, though.
I think you'll regret it.
Oh, trust me, I know I'll regret it. Because with shipping, it ends up being estimated total of $16.98. Yeah,
that's where they get you. That's where they get you. This is like their 6-month contract of T-shirts.
Could you imagine if they would send you 6 T-shirts over the course of 6 months, but it's just $9.99 in different colors? Just the 9s are in different colors.
Yeah, that'd be amazing.
That would be brilliant.
All right, so I'm going through the list, and it is being talked about in the live chat. we are skipping a few of the tag teams.
Later, Gator.
Yeah, we've got Slater Gator, and that's still a thing. I don't know necessarily. Like, I want to see good things from them. I think they can both produce really well. They're both quality guys. It's just a matter of how they're pushing him. I don't see any way for them to really be successful. But you've also got Big Show versus Mark Henry, and obviously that's on hold for a little while because we're going to get Mark Henry versus Rusev. So again, just like we're getting Bo Dallas versus Jack Swagger as a little break between Swagger and Rusev, Rusev versus Mark Henry is the other side of it. So do you like that? Do you like that feud?
I'm not big anymore on the Rusev Swagger thing, but I like Mark Henry. I like they're doing something different there. I like they're mixing things up. I like that the tag team of Henry Show also has another aspect that Henry's in, where with this Rusev thing. I think that's a cool aspect. I want to see more of this kind of thing, where they're giving guys, one, their own feuds, but they're also working towards goals. I mean, holy crap, it's like fucking e-fetting. Like, good e-fetting. And if anybody doesn't know this, Garvin and I used to e-fed like all the time. That's like part of how we built our friendship.
With Diva Jill.
Over the internet. You know, she came in later.
Okay.
But like, you always have like, oh, there's a title, like, oh, this person's got a singles title. Well, we don't have enough guys, so he's now also in a tag team, and he wins the tag team titles, and then they pull then they're just like the network, the web of storylines. Like, I want to see more webbing. I want to see more overrun. Like, even looking at that 6-man tag that was on Raw, fucking A. You had Orton in there. You had Reigns in there. They had that feud.
Mm-hmm.
Then but they're also branching that off into Rollins, who happened to also be there.
Right.
Cena had a feud with Kane. Now he's got a feud with whoever, besides Brock Lesnar, because he wasn't there. But like I like the fact that you have a few of these aspects where these guys still have grudges, and you can act on it and use it for fodder in a match. Use it in the match to help enhance the match and give these guys reasons for what they're doing. I think a lot of that logic for a long time has been removed. So, yeah.
So, yeah, again, WWE is doing things that are making people sad. It's been a while since we've seen this almost unanimous negative attitude towards WWE. Like, I want to say it's been at least 2 years. Like, before the CM Punk year-long title reign, before that, I think so many people were just like fed up with what WWE was doing, and we're back at that point where, John Canton, who writes a Raw report every single week, has been more and more negative towards the product, which is odd for him, just because he's been doing it for so long. And you've got other groups in the industry who are generally, and I think we can safely use this term, biased towards WWE, and giving them the benefit of the doubt of what they're doing. But yeah, just lately, it just seems everyone's unanimously against what WWE is doing. But there's still some diamonds in the rough. There's still some good things happening. So again, it just goes back to the idea that I push all the time that WWE is not just a wrestling company anymore. Fortunately, they're not, and it's also not the Attitude Era where they were doing one thing and they were targeting one demographic. Now they're targeting so many demographics, and as long as you realize what demographic you fit in and what portion of the majority you fit in, I mean, there are good things out there for you. So, okay.
Yeah.
Night of Champions takes place on Sunday, September 21st, 2014. We'll be previewing it on Tuesday, September 16th, which is FTW232. Officially, right now, we've got Brock Lesnar versus John Cena for the World Heavyweight Championship. And for the U.S. Championship, we have Sheamus versus Cesaro. We've got a list of probables. Right now, we've got Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins, Nikki versus
Brie.
I have it written down, Nikki versus Bella, but yeah, it's Brie. The IC Championship, Dolph Ziggler versus Miz. The original thought was we were going to get Swagger versus Rusev again, but it seems like we're going to get Rusev versus Mark Henry and Swagger versus Bo Dallas. There was also the idea that we would get AJ versus Paige again, but maybe we get a four-way with Nikki and Brie. I don't know. I don't know how it's going to work out. Yeah, I don't know how it's going to work out. I know Lawler will probably be totally into it regardless. And then also Chris Jericho versus Bray Wyatt might happen, but after I wrote that, I realized that this upcoming week on Raw we're going to get Jericho versus Wyatt in a steel cage match. So I don't know how they would do that and a match at Night of Champions, but it's still possible. We'll see. And yeah, Joe.
What?
I guess we do have some more time about some WWE related stuff. First of all, Slater Gator during that match, it was Adam Rose versus Titus O'Neil. On the outside was Heath Slater, helping out his friend and partner Titus O'Neil, and the Bunny came out.
The fucking Bunny. JBL, you could just tell the coronary was happening. Why Adam Rose versus Gator with Slater on the outside?
Why not? I mean, they're there. Might as well use them. I mean, Zack Ryder got a match. You might as well give a match to Heath Slater and Titus O'Neil.
True. But, I mean, Ryder is, as I said in that one article I wrote like 3 years ago or whatever, Zack Ryder could be WWE champion at some point.
As far as this goes, Versi Jones in the live chat is saying, and a lot of people are saying like the same general idea, which is, why did this need to happen? Who knows? But personally, I hope this leads to the Bunny being made into like an actual character, or at least leading up to a return or a debut of someone new. So
why not build the super faction of the Bunny, the Bull, and the Cow?
It's possible.
I mean, you got fucking Animal Farm kicking there. You could bring back, or, bring back Bull Buchanan. Bull. The fucking, what the fuck were the Godwins?
Dude. Now you're talking.
I know, all right?
Bring back the Red Rooster.
Yes.
Now you've got a good stable there.
Managed by Bob Backlund. Gives breakfast chicken.
But anyways, do you see this actually lead into anything? Like the Bunny is going to be someone currently on the roster like a Zack Ryder? Or do you see anyone else debuting, or do you think this is just a short-lived pay-per-view kickoff match between Slater Gator and Adam Rose and the Bunny?
Yeah, that's what we're gonna get. It's the Gator versus the Bunny tag team match. Oh, Jill marked out there, the gobbledygooker.
Bull Dempsey being called up from NXT.
What else? That's a lot of. We got a lot of Bull.
Yeah, we do have a lot of Bull.
Ernest the Cat Miller.
All right. I think we need to We need to jump off this topic because I can see us going for the rest of the show on this.
Come on, we need filler.
Bull Nakano. There we go. Oh, man.
Oh.
Would George the Animal Steel fit into this mix? I feel like he
Sure,
would.
might as well.
Oh, Jake the Snake Roberts. How about that? All right. No, I got to stop.
Oh, the Hip Hop Hippo. Yes. The Funkasaurus.
Oh, man.
Oh.
All right. So let's move on.
And Vicky Guerrero, because she's the cougar.
Oh, good. I'm glad you went with the cougar. I thought you were going somewhere else, but that's good. So WWE has invited gay NFL player Michael Sam, who was released by the Rams this week, to come to Raw to have an open mic. They promoted this at least 5 or 6 times on the Raw broadcast. There's a personal letter from Stephanie McMahon to Michael Sam inviting him to have an open mic. Hold on. Darren Young, on the other hand, the gay WWE wrestler who came out earlier this year and is also sitting at home with nothing to do. WWE has never made a single mention about that on TV. Why would they go towards Michael Sam and not Darren Young? Like, what's the issue here?
Because Darren Young still has a job. The fact that they didn't capitalize on Darren Young's sexuality speaks volumes to me. Because they didn't immediately go, hey, let's use this guy. He's the gay guy. They didn't do that, which I am very proud of them for doing because it doesn't matter. Michael Sam's big in the news. That's it. It's the news grab. What are they going to do that's crazy? Titus O'Neil to come out and go, like when they had Strahan out there?
Yeah.
And they tore up the mic, the two of them, with like a Miz on Miz TV just doing nothing.
Miz stood there being awful. Yep.
That's what you're gonna get.
Yeah, I think overall, it's not going to happen. Obviously, just look at WWE's track record. They have invited so many people based on what's happening publicly, as far as newsworthy topics and whatnot, like the whole Glenn Beck thing with Zeb Coulter. For some reason they continue to do this, and obviously it's just a publicity thing. But it seems logical that if they would do this for Michael Sam, they would also embrace Darren Young and give him the same opportunity. And it's kind of odd that they never did. And yeah, Joe, I mean, you're right. You can be proud for WWE not capitalizing on Darren Young, not making it a spectacle. But at the same time, I mean, he's sitting at home, nothing to do. He was injured, but as far as what I've read for the last month or so, he's been perfectly fine and ready to go. So why not? Why give this opportunity to someone who sure is newsworthy rather than, who's on the roster? It just boggles my mind. That's all.
Because they're not trying to sensationalize Darren Young.
Yeah.
Darren Young being gay is not news anymore.
Well, because it's never been talked about again.
Yeah, and I think that's fine. I don't know. I just don't. It's purely an attention grab for who's out there in. Yeah. Anyway.
Okay. Well, I think that is all the WWE topics that we have. And I think we have answered pretty much every Ask FTW that has been sent in. Oh, actually, we do have one. This is from Benjamin on the Facebook group. Once again, Ask FTW is a segment it's like a mailbag segment, so you guys can send in your topics or questions. We'll answer them on the show. You can send them to questions@ftwpodcast.com. Post them on the Facebook page or Facebook group. You can also reach out to us on Twitter using the AskFTW hashtag. There's a number of ways to get a hold of us. You guys have been doing a great job doing so. If you need more information about that, just head on over to ftwpodcast.com. It's all right there for you. But Benjamin's question from the Facebook group, he asks, who is the better overall champion right now, all things considered? Brock Lesnar or Bobby Lashley?
I'm going to go with Brock Lesnar. Lesnar has the cred for it. Lashley never seemed to really build that. Lesnar is a former WWE champion and was a force to be reckoned with when he was. He also then went off to MMA, became a champion there, and then is bringing that cred back. It does a lot more for the WWE title than what Lashley's doing, where he was a former Intercontinental champion, former WWE ECW champion. That was it. He fell flat. He's doing good work, but he just isn't bringing the gravity that Brock Lesnar is, and shedding that on the appropriate title. If that makes any sense whatsoever.
Yeah, I mean, as far as feeling legit, like a legit champion, Brock Lesnar feels like that legit champion. The way he destroyed John Cena makes him a better champion, I guess. But it's odd. It's like we're in this weird spot in wrestling. Like while we try not to compare what WWE is doing versus what TNA is doing, TNA is going the route that we've come to expect, which is the champion is on TV every week, and the champion is even fighting in matches every week or every other week. So in that instance, Lashley is a better champion just because of the longevity of it. He's already defended the title versus Jeff Hardy, Austin Aries, EY. I'm sure there's a couple others I'm forgetting. But, yeah, I mean, overall, because he's been this fighting champion, you have to give it to Bobby Lashley. But, if you wanted to really compare the two of who would win a fight, Brock Lesnar would win. What's been more entertaining? And I'm also torn on that because while I'm entertained with what TNA is doing and the matches that Bobby Lashley has been involved in, I was also really entertained with the fact of how badly John Cena was beat up by Brock Lesnar. So I'm not sure.
Well, way to be decisive.
Yeah, I like them both. But obviously, I mean, as far as being on TV every week and being a fighting champion, Lashley is the better of the two. But let's talk about this in a month or two. Let's talk about this at the end of the year. Where do we still stand? Is Brock Lesnar still holding the title once we get to Royal Rumble? Is Bobby Lashley still holding the title as we enter into 2015? That sort of thing. I think that'll help to really answer that question, and hopefully they still are. If they're both still holding the titles, I think we'll have a much better look.
And then, with the diverticulitis under control, maybe we can get Brock Lesnar versus Bobby Lashley. The undisputed. No, okay.
Oh, here's a point being brought up in the live chat by Diva Jill. She said, Bobby's matches have had consequences. If you look at who he has beaten the next night or the next week on Impact, the opponent always showed that they were hurt by that match. That would affect them moving forward. Brock Lesnar, while he did destroy John Cena came back healthy as ever, not showing any sign of pain, and destroyed the Wyatt family almost single-handedly.
Well, that's because of Earth's yellow sun. It empowers Superman.
It's true.
So he just had to wait till the next day, absorb the sun rays, and he was good to go.
Yeah.
Come on, nerds. That was a Superman reference.
I get it. I get what you're saying.
Nerds!
All
I am one of you.
right, let's jump into win fail. Joe, what is your win of the week?
This is so stupid. My win of the week is Mike Tenay calling Kenny King a pothead. It was a small detail. I actually went back and I was like, did Tenay just call Kenny King a pothead? Yes, he did. So apparently, if Evan Bourne and Jack Swagger and RVD want to go over to TNA, I'm sure they could really learn to fly.
I need I need to go back and watch it. When did that take place? During the Lashley match?
Opening segment when
Opening
they came out.
I'll have to rewatch. That's funny.
Yeah, it was just a small detail, but I found it funny this morning when I was half awake and trying to catch up on some TNA.
All right. So for me, my win of the week is actually another stupid thing. It was just like an observation that I made, but at the end of Raw, like as Raw was fading out, John Cena walked to the outside, took a sign from the fan that was at ringside, and the sign said "You can't see me" on it. It was like one of those "You can't see me" with the
Right.
C crossed off or whatever. And he held up the sign, but he held it up backwards, and on the other side of the sign it said "Tag me in." and he held it up proudly, and then he did like the "You can't see me" hand motion as Raw faded out. But I thought it was totally funny that they ended with John Cena messing up.
Well, that's how they hurried up and got off camera. Why they moved on is because shit, he screwed up. Damn it!
Although it was
screwed up.
It was fitting though. I mean, while it was a mess up, that's most likely what he didn't mean to do. They were building up in commentary, so I mean, like they could use this actually moving forward. They built it up in commentary how Jericho and Reigns kind of weren't tagging in John Cena. John Cena only had that few moments in the ring where he took everyone out, but he didn't get the win. I mean, Roman Reigns got the win, so I mean they could end up using it, but I thought it was funny.
That is pretty funny.
Wins from the live chat. We've got TNA again. Sandow working as Mizdow. Some love for ROH, NXT, and TNA. Some more love for the Dust Brothers. And the whole angle with Miz having a stunt double. And that's something that we really haven't talked about this week or last week. And I am starting to enjoy it more. Before I was thinking, I was kind of down on the whole Dolph Ziggler-Miz feud, but I definitely think the addition of Damien Sandow is making it more entertaining.
It is. It's a good use for Damien Sandow because he needs something to do. Miz needs a lackey. In this role, might as well. If they can both do a bit to make it work, hell yeah, it's a lot of fun.
All right, some last-minute wins from the live chat. We've also got wins for Paul Heyman and the Bunny. Bunny got the win.
Fucking Bunny. I'm with JBL, man. That damn Bunny.
All right, let's go into fails. Joe, what is your fail of the week?
My fail of the week is that Kenny King doesn't do shit. I want to see Kenny King start to stand out again. And maybe that's going to happen when the X Division, when they start, maybe they'll give him something to do in the X Division so that maybe he can be the X Division champion with Lashley as the champion. It could work. And then just make MVP their majorative mouthpiece.
Yeah, I'm with you. I would definitely like to see Kenny King be used better, wrestling more, really. I think my last good memory of Kenny King was Kenny King versus Bobby Lashley, really before all of this kind of moved forward. But I thought that was a fantastic match. But really, I think that was like one of the last matches we had with Kenny King, at least singles matches. So,
Right.
my fail is going to go to how Divas matches are booked. It's another observation, and I don't know if you guys have noticed it as well. I'm not talking about Age versus Paige. Those two are totally above.
Was that one on purpose?
What? Did I do it again?
AJ? Yeah.
God bless it. I'm gonna have to listen to this back because I don't think I'm saying it.
I'm gonna go to the chat here. Yeah, Paige.
Live chat. Am I saying it? God.
H versus Paige. I love it. That's a Garvin. You know what? That's the fucking Garvin stomp right there.
Oh man.
Oh,
At least I got over the Adrian Novell.
Yep, you did. You did that one at least. At least you got past that.
All right. So, anyways, my fail is going to go to any Divas match that involves like this uncontrollable brawl where like all the Divas are in a ring. It's always like a multi-Divas match, obviously. So you've got either a tag match or a six person scramble or whatever. For some reason, there is always at least one diva that pulls out that weird rapid-fire butt punch. I don't know if you've noticed it, Joe.
Butt punch?
I don't know if you guys have noticed in the live chat either, but maybe there's a clip from WWE.com that we can pull in. But yeah, basically there's a rapid-fire butt punch where the face diva gets knocked down and she's on her stomach. And we've got one, like it's like a 2-on-1 type scenario. So you've got one diva going after the head, and then you've got another diva punching her butt. And I don't get it. That does not happen in real life. Help me out.
Let's get our wives together and see if they'll punch each other's butts. That'd be hot.
I'm just saying, it's not a real. It's like you wouldn't see that in real life.
There's some crazy ass videos on the internet. I'm just saying there might be some butt punching going on.
Okay, the live chat is calling me out. They said that did not happen. I'm gonna post it on the Facebook page for sure. Let me write a note. I put it in the show notes. But it does happen, and it does happen in every single match.
It's the one spot in the match that Vince insists on.
All right, so fails from the live chat. I gotta scroll down because everyone's criticizing me. We've got Raw, the Bunny, the Bellas, John Cena, growing up Bella, Triple H's blunders on the mic, such as WWE and Brock Cena, JBL, AJ and Paige getting dragged into the Bella storyline. I did it better that time, right?
You did that time, yeah.
That's because I was reading it. So, all right. So, yeah, obviously all the fails seem to be coming from WWE's side, much like last week. So I know on YouTube we'll get criticized for being biased, but that's just them's the breaks. That's how everyone feels, not just us. And that's it. It's your win-fail. Joe, what's your final thoughts for the night?
My final thoughts are that my jaw feels a bit better, even though I still have to go back into the dentist tomorrow morning, have that crown redone. I really hope they don't have to Novocaine me again, because I'm so sick of it.
Novocaine for the soul?
Yeah, maybe I'll have dreams of Paige.
No, maybe. I know I will. Paige.
Oh. Gotta be quicker than that. No. That damn State Farm commercial, I tell you. That old guy is so creepy.
Yeah.
If you don't know what I'm talking about, there's this commercial. This girl's like, "Oh, I want to buy this new purse. I wonder if I have enough money. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is yeah." So, not to totally jingle them out because I don't even use them. Um, the agent appears and she's like, "How much did switching to you guys save me?" He's like, "About $150." She's like, "Oh, spend it," and she buys his purse. The other girl's like, "I don't have your insurance, but person, come help." Or maybe that's the other commercial. Or like, somebody find me money, yeah. And then this old guy appears in like this fishing vest with this fishing pole and $1 on the end. He's like, "I got you $1." And as she goes to grab it, he pulls it up and he goes, "Well, you got to be quicker than that." Oh, and it's like, you creepy motherfucker.
Styles Clash in the live chat says that he looks like the real life Mr. Burns.
I could totally see that. I'm gonna have to ask my wife about that one now. She thinks that's.
Yeah, fortunately for me, I am Netflix and or downloading Raw next day, so I do not get commercials anymore, and I'm very thankful.
You don't watch regular television anymore either, so.
Well, sports games, you know, but even then, like, I'm not paying attention to commercials, I guess.
Fair enough.
Look at that. I don't have any final thoughts. Just outside of thanking everyone for coming into the live chat, it was very fun tonight. And if you're listening on demand, definitely join on a Tuesday night. We know you don't have anything else going on for real. It's Tuesday night. Just kick back, listen to us, talk with everyone else in the live chat. It's a lot of fun. And that's the show. You can go check out FTWpodcast.com for more information about us and how to get involved in the future. And join us live each and every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern on FTWLive.com. For myself, Joe, everyone in the live chat, we will see you next Tuesday. Goodbye.
I think Kevin's dead.
Kevin? No.
Oh, shit, we haven't seen Lee in ages.
Lee is coming back. End of September, early October, so the rumor says. So get excited. Goodbye, everyone.